Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To my motor control and learning lecturer, that is Dr. Radin, and to all my fellow classmates that is watching, they are now watching our presentations video. So today we would like to present about our group presentation sport. That is, we chose netball as our sports, and I would like to introduce first my name and all my group mates' name. So my name is Nurdana binti Muhammad Fadil, followed by Fatin Suhana binti Rosman, Nurhanis binti Ahmad, Muhammad Fakrul Syami bin Rosman, Akmal Harith bin Roslan, Adi Putra Iman bin Abdul Rashid, and Muhammad Saiful Nizam bin Sakab. Okay, so now I will introduce to you guys of what is netball, the history of netball, and more about netball. Alright, so let's start. The netball is one of the fastest growing team sports in the world after football. Yeah, so it is adapted from a basketball game. The game was first brought to England from America in the early of 90s, and netball is a non-contact sport. But it requires the players to be fast, strong, and fragile, because we have changing turns, changing directions in the game. Alright, but the game considerable pressure on the body, with players having to make short sprints, hard stops, and twists and turns during the course of the match. So the game is usually played by two teams of 7 players. That means we have 14 players in the court. The aim is being to outscore the opponents, and each position in netball we have the specialties and the specific purpose of itself. Okay, so now I will explain to you guys what is the motor skills in netball. In netball, all the positions need to use cognitive skills, perceptual skills, and more motor skills to make a performance. Motor skills, which is complex motor skills that has related to open and closed motor skills, is needed in netball, such as open motor skills. The environment is continually changing, and the movement have to be continually adapted, such as pivoting in netball. That means like we catch the ball and we want to turn around, so that is pivoting in netball. Next is close motor skills. The skills such as a goal shooter, where they have a very stable environment that has no pressure at all when they are trying to shoot in the goalpost, trying to get a score. So that is close motor skills in netball. Okay, so the important skills in netball, we have 5, which is footwork, eye coordination, and passing technique, attacking and defensive tactics, eye coordination and catching techniques, and shooting techniques. And here are some of passes that netballers usually use in netball, such as chest pass, bound pass, lob pass, overhead pass, and shoulder pass. Okay, so I will proceed to our next presenter.
For netball classification skills, netball involving both generic motor skill and secondary motor skill. Generic motor skill is movement that already available, for example, running. While secondary motor skill is movement that need to be learned through practice and training. For example, chest pass and shoulder pass in netball. Netball also can be classified as open motor skills. This is because netball is performed in unstable and unpredictable environment, where the start point is determined by the environment. Performer is not the one who chooses to perform and execute the skill and movement action needed. The skill and movement action needed are decided by other people or the environment. In team-based sports such as netball, this is commonly determined by movement and action of the member of the team and opponent, with some influence by the environmental factors. For example, attacking and defending in netball. In counter-attack, the environment will be unexpected and unstable for both attacking side and defending side. For attacking side, they do not know how much pressure that will be given by the defending side, such as maybe they will block their passing or shooting. While for defending side, they also do not know how much pressure that will be given by the attacking side, such as the passing that they will give to their teammates, or they want to shoot the ball, or maybe changing some directions. Gross motor skills is the classification skills for netball. This is because netball involving large muscle groups such as their arms and legs to complete the whole body movement. Explosive braking in netball involving good lower body muscle group such as hamstring and quadriceps. Netball athlete need to have good balance and agility after an explosive braking and while changing directions and motion that involving rapid and precise movement. Athletes also need to have good arm muscles to perform shooting and passing.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Fakhrushami bin Zainul Annan. I'm from SR2433S2. So for today, I'm gonna be the one who represent about the rules and the regulation of netballs. So the first thing that we need to know in netball is there are 14 players and 7 on each team. So each position has their own main role. The first role is goal shooter. Goal shooter's role is to score goals and to work in around the circle with the GA. GA is the goal attack. The goal attack role is to feed and work with the GS to score the goals. Next, we have the wing attack. The wing attack's role is to feed the circle players by giving them shooting opportunities. Next is the center. The center's role is to take the center pass and link to the defense and the attack. Next, we move on to the wing defense. Wing defense roles is to look for interception and to prevent the wing attack from the other team from feeding the circle. Next, we have the goal defense. To win the ball and to reduce the effectiveness of the goal attack on the other team. And lastly, we have the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's role is to work with the goal defense and to prevent the goal shooter from the other team to score. So next, we move on to the starting or restarting the game. The players are responsible at the start and the restart of play. Centers, passes are taken alternately by the centers. After a goal has been scored, all players must start in the goal third except for the two centers. The center with the ball starts with either one or both feet in the center circle. If on one foot, the other must not have contact with the ground outside the center circle. And they must obey the footwork rule after the whistle has been blown. The opposing center stands anywhere within the center third and is free to move. The center pass must be caught or touched by a player in or landing in or jumping from a stance in the center third. So next is playing the ball. A player who has scored or the ball shall play it or shoot for goal within 3 seconds. Next, a player may bounce or bat the ball once to gain control. Once released, the ball must next be touched by another player. There must be room for a third player between hand of thrower and the catcher. A player on the ground must stand up before playing the ball. So next, we move on to the footwork. Having caught the ball, a player must land or stand on one foot, meaning while the landing foot remains grounded, the other foot may be moved anywhere, any number of times, pivoting on the landing foot if desired. Once the landing foot is lifted, it must not be re-grounded until the ball is released. So next is the 2 feet footwork, meaning simultaneously. Once one foot is moved, the other is considered to be the landing foot. As above, hopping or dragging the landing foot is not allowed. Next, we move on to scoring a goal. Only GS or GA can score the goal. They must be completely within the circle when the ball is received in order to shoot for a goal. Next is the toss-up. This is administered for all simultaneous infringements. The two players stand facing each other at their own shooting ends with hand by their sides, and the umpire flicks the ball upwards not more than 600 meters or 2 feet in the air as the whistle is blown. A free pass is awarded for infringement of any of the preceding rules. It may be taken by any player allowed in that area as soon as they have taken up the stationary position. A player may not shoot from a free pass in the shooting circle. Next is the obstruction. Firstly, player with the ball. The nearer foot of the defender must be 3 feet from the landing foot of the player with a ball, or the spot where the first foot had landed if one has lifted. The defender may jump to intercept or defend the ball from this 3 feet distance. Next is the player without a ball. The defender may be close but not touching, providing that no effort is made to intercept or defend the ball and there is no interference with the opponent's throwing or shooting action. Arms must be in natural position, not outstretched, and no other part of the body or legs may be used to hamper an opponent. Intimidation of any kind is classed as obstruction. A standing player is not compelled to move to allow an opponent a free run, but dangerous play must be discouraged. Example given, moving into the landing space of a player already in the air, or stepping late into the path of moving player. Next is the contact. No player may contact an opponent either accidentally or deliberately in such a way that interferes with the play of that opponent or causes contact to occur. A penalty pass is awarded for the above infringements taken from where the infringements occurred. The offending player must stand out of play besides the thrower until the pass or shoot has been taken. Any opposing player allowed in that area may take the penalty. So lastly is the court areas. The first one is offsides. Player moving out of their own area with or without a ball on a line count as within either areas. Next is over a third. Ball may not be thrown over the two transverse line without being touched. And lastly is out of court. Ball is out of court when it contacts anything outside the court area. The ball is returned into the play by a throw-in taken from a point outside the line where the ball left on the court. The players stands with foot close to the line, and the ball must be thrown onto the court within 3 seconds.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today I will talk about the stage of skill acquisition, which is we have three: cognitive stage, associative stage, and also enhancement stage. So first we will talk about the cognitive stage. So in this stage, it focuses on the mental concentration and the thought process involved in understanding and processing a new information before a new skill can even be attempted. So in this stage, we can see that the athlete is learning a new skills. So basically, the skill needs to be explained and demonstrate for them. They need to visualize and practice the skills. Athletes might rely on their prior experience, transferring their knowledge of the other sport to the process of understanding a new skills. People at this stage are likely to perform poorly, and they require regular encouragement and also feedback to ensure their progress and learn from their mistake. At this stage also, the acquisition of skill will be uncoordinated and inconsistent. The individual may be lack of confidence, or many people find learning a new skill is very frustrating. It is important that coach or trainer give regular practice, positive feedback, and also when the learner do it correctly, they need to give a good feedback to them. The comment for them must be specific so that they can know which part is their mistake and which part they need to improve the skill. Next, we will go to the second stage, which is associative stage. In this stage, individual can execute a skill to a basic level and understand the proper technique. The main focus here is to refining the skill through repetition and rehearsal. During this process, error will still occur, although they should not be as significant and as frequent as in the cognitive stage. With increase of practice, the error will become less common. When execution of the skill become highly successful in close environment, the coach or trainer will encourage the learner to perform the skill in an open environment. From progressing from a closed setting to an open one can be difficult because instead of being in control, the individual is exposed unpredictable movement and must focus on many more variables like position players, positional play, timing, and also executing their skill correctly. For example, in cognitive stage, you will perform a simple pass, simple shot without any opponent. But in this stage, they will need to have more advantage because they have an opponent to block their passing, to block their shooting. So they need to more open. As the individual become more confident and successful, the difficulty of the journey should increase to further challenge and refine their abilities. Some learners may take weeks, months, or maybe years to progress from the associative stage. It is not uncommon for individuals to plateau due to the high difficulty of the skill and lack of frequency with which with which they are practice. The third one is the autonomous stage. The autonomous stage is achieved when the learner has mastered all sub-part of skill and are able to combine them to perform the whole sequence automatically with precision. This means they are able to perform with full awareness while also identifying and correcting any errors quickly and independently. They are also easily to process and adapt to external feedback. A person at an autonomous stage can confidently execute a skill while focus on multiple factors at the same time. For example, during shooting, the athlete will know their surrounding, will for example, where their opponent will be going, where the opponent will be blocking. Or maybe during passing, they will know their surrounding to avoid from getting blocked. The athlete at the autonomous stage are able to perform skill automatically, but they will still need to practice this skill indirectly. Practice during this stage is usually comprises of a real-time game-based scenario drill which challenge the individual by forcing them to multitask. If the drill becomes too easy, the coach or trainer should increase the difficulty by adding more opposition players, speeding up the drill, or having the individual to perform the skill in the drill under greater fatigue. One potential issues for individuals who have reached the autonomous stage is that it can be very difficult to alter their technique if it's occur automatically. This will require the individual to break down the technique adjustment and practice it once again become autonomous. For example, if the rule change in professional game, so they will need to learn a new thing or maybe a new skill to get it. So in conclusion, for cognitive stage, it is the process of gathering information. So it will have a large gain but in an inconsistent. For associative stage, it is more to putting all action together. It has small gain, is enjoyed performance and conscious effort. And during autonomous stage, it is more to much time and practice. The performance seems unconscious, automatic, and smooth. The athlete will be able to perform the skills spontaneously, automatically, and also smooth.
Now, let's proceed to athlete biography. We choose Serena Guthrie as our athlete. Her favorite quote is "Give everything but expect nothing." Now, let's proceed to her biography. Serena Guthrie, born on 5th January 1990 at Peterborough, Great Britain. Her height is 180 cm. She has one little brother who is English footballer named Curtis Guthrie. She has a relationship with Bob Kirsten and they plan to marry on 2021. She has already trained by Josephine Higgins and Kendra Slawinski. Next is how Serena training. Firstly is running. to maintain the stamina. Next one is plyometric. Plyometric help to improve explosive power, which is required when sprinting to get the ball, driving up into the air, or landing in a controlled and safe manner. Next one is example of plyometric. Example of plyometric is squat jump and power skipping. Next is single leg exercise. Single leg exercise is very important because the rules of netball is when we catch the ball, we cannot step up anymore. So, single leg exercise is very important to make our body normalize and make our performance be better. The next training that Serena do is passing and catching technique. Passing and catching technique also one of the important thing in netball. If we cannot do better passing and catching technique, we cannot perform well in our competition. Next one is agility cones. Agility is one of the training that can make we move quickly and easily. So in netball, we can do a agility cones exercise. The last one is lateral hurdle jump. Lateral hurdle jump can develop power. Same goes to plyometric.
My name is Nurhanis binti Ahmad. We will proceed to the next discussion. Next, we move to how practice help athletes progress in their skill performance. Practice typically comprises activities that are designed to help a person acquire a new skill, improve in an already acquired skill, or maintain a skill. Firstly, athletes are able to identify the proper technique and access the characteristic of the physical contact and skill to perform the skill in correct way. A lot of practice will ensure the athlete to identify proper technique that should be done in every skill that had been practiced by them. In associative stage, athletes start to understand how to perform the skill because they have learned or practiced the skill before for many times. So, from that, they can maintain to perform the skill in proper way. Secondly, practicing enable the athlete to set goals and reach them, whether they are to look and feel better about themselves or become a better player and teammate. With practicing also, the athlete will automatically set their goal and reach them because every athlete will have their own goal to be achieved in their sport that they involve. So, from the practicing the skill, they can actually improve the performance to achieve their target. Next, athletes are able to reduce the number of errors in their skill through feedback and demonstration given by the coach. By practicing also, the number of errors in the skill practice will reduce because they have adapted with the skill during practice. They can know either the skill that they practice have small error or not. Next, practicing allows time for rules to be understood and implemented. With practice, rules of the game can be easily understood and implemented well during the real tournament. Because at that time, they will randomly apply the rules that they done during practice. Next, practice will make athletes adapt with the movement pattern acquired in the cognitive stage to perform in many environments and situations. A lot of practice are needed and it lasts a long time. So, to make sure the athlete adapt with the movement pattern in different environments, they should practice in different environments also. Next, while practicing sport, the athlete will do the exercise motor and cognitive skill, which are essential both on and off the field. Practice is not implemented in tournament or game, but it is also be randomly implemented off the field because our life sometimes need to do movement that related with sport. And lastly, discipline in practice will develop consistency and accuracy of the skill practice, so the brain will start to memorize all the skill movement that been practiced during the training. In autonomous stage, athletes are naturally perform the skill execution. They start to master all the skill and learn to correct the movement, and normally will rarely happen with just a small error. So from that, the athlete able to keep the consistency and accuracy of the skill practice.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Saiful Nazam Isaka. I'm going to present about type of drill stages. Okay, there is 3 stages in learning skills. First stage is cognitive. Cognitive movement are slow, inconsistent, and inefficiently. Consider cognitive activity is required. Attention to understand what move to produce a specific result. Large part of the movement are controlled consciously. Practice session are more performance focused as variable incorporate a clear mental image, technical or visual issue. Second stage is associative stages. In associative stages, movement are more fluid, reliable, and efficient. Less cognitive activity is required. Some part of the movement are controlled consciously, some automatically. Practice session link performance and result. Condition can be vary. Condition can be vary. Clear mental image to accurate performance. In autonomous stages, movement are accurate, consistent, and efficient. Little or no cognitive activity is required. Movement is larger, controlled automatically. Attention can be focused on tactical choice. Practice sessions are more result-oriented. Focus is on greater range of motion, speed, acceleration, and use of skill in novel situations. For cognitive stages, I like to choose code agility drill. Okay. First, begin at the starting line, jog and follow the cones. As you can see, the figure in the right side. The first section of the code is all about improving your change in direction and footwork. When you reach the cone, using footwork skill change direction. Using footwork skills, change direction as quickly as you can and continue. Jog to the next part of the code. When you reach the top left hand side of the code, run in and out of the cones. At the semi-final circle, move from the side to other following the curve. Using side steps, this helps players stay light on their feet and get the leg muscle moving. Keep traveling around the court and the course is complete when you meet the finishing line. So as you can see, this drill is drill about your agility, footwork skills. Okay, for associative stage, I would like to choose 2 ball skill advance. 2 ball skill advance is chase pass and bounce pass. 2 players, 2 balls. 1 ball should only be bounce pass, and the other ball should be chase pass through the air. Okay, for autonomous stages, I like to choose tired shooting drill. In tired shooting drill, player must sprint from one cone to another as fast as they can, making sure they bend down and touch each cone. As you can see the figure on the right side. After the final cone, they should drive into the circle to receive the pass from the coach. Player must stop and play the shot as best as they can. So as you can see, in tight shooting drill, there is agility stages. There is cognitive stages, associative stages and autonomous stages. For cognitive stages is when you run from another con to another con. There is for your footwork and agility. For associative stages is when you receive the ball, and for autonomous stages is when you hitting the ball to the goals. So, thank you.
There are several demonstration, instruction and feedback strategies method that can be used by coaches in facilitating the athlete during the training session. So we start with the demonstration. Demonstration involves showing by reason or proof, explaining or making clear by use of example or experiment, or in simple word we can say it as clearly show. So firstly, the coaches should plan the demonstration. Clearly plan how to do demonstration so that the athlete can understand well and can implement it during practice. Secondly, the athlete should be practice the demonstration. Ask the athlete to practice based on the demonstration shown by the coaches to make sure the athlete clearly understand. After that, develop an outline to guide the demonstration. The coaches should do the outline to guide the demonstration by start with asking the athlete why the skill should be performed in the sport, then briefly explain to them about the demonstration to make athlete easily to understand. Next, the coaches should make sure everyone can see the demo shown by them. And lastly, introduce the demonstration to focus attention of the athlete. Next is instruction, techniques that used by the coaches to help athletes to become independent and understand how to use effectively to accomplish tasks or meet goals. Firstly, coaches should explain the instruction by using the step-by-step strategy instruction. The instruction should start with the first things to do until the last things to do, so it can help the athlete to plan what they should do during the practice. Next, a variety of instructional approaches and learning material also can help athletes to focusing on their practice. Other than that, try to provide opportunities to transfer skill and ideas from one situation to another so that the athlete can understand well during practice. Coaches also should give a meaningful connection between skill and idea and provide a real-life situation by asking them to imagine play in the real situation. And lastly, coaches should encourage athletes to self-monitor and self-correct so that the athlete can improve their performance. Lastly is feedback. Feedback is important for the acquisition of skill by the athlete. It is provide direction, goals and help the athlete to adjust their performance and skill execution as they progress through the stage of skill acquisition. Firstly is positive feedback. Coaches will apply to situation where the athlete did a good job. It is consists of a simple praise but even more powerfully reinforcing if the coaches specifically highlight why or how the athlete did a good job. Second is a constructive feedback, which is it highlights how a person could do better next time. It is need to be delivered sensitively, focus on observable fact, not assume a trait. And lastly is negative feedback. It is describe a perceived negative behavior without proposing a resolution. It is corrective comment about past behavior and focus on behavior that was not successful and should not be repeated.
In conclusion, learning process must be continued to training and identifying mistakes during the training session. Furthermore, to master the skill in netball, the athlete needs to practice harder and follows the stage of skill acquisition, starting from the easiest movement to the complex movement. Involves open motor skills and gross motor skill. Next, by doing drills and circuit training, the athlete can improve their staminas. And lastly, by mastering all the motor skills that are acquired in netball, the athlete can go further in the future. Thank you.